How would you say Brexit and the negotiations are going? Because we look at every round of negotiations and we think the EU wants this, the UK said it won't do this, and yet we're now in a position where we're watering down clearly the issue on the Brexit bill. Boris Johnson talks about whistling. It now looks as if everybody's whistling on the same tune. We are now looking at a watering down of the ECJ possibly taking place. Is this just realism? Is this just pragmatism about what is coming up? Or is it a folding of the deck chairs?
I think there's an element of recognising that if you're going to go through a process and you want to continue to engage with a partner after that we leave the European Union, then you've actually got to try and put some proper basis and grounds for that to take place. And, I mean, frankly, there's a lot of showboating, let's call it that, that's been taking place, which is not particularly helpful. And actually, the hard work is what takes place in dark rooms that you and I don't visit, where the negotiation, the minutiae of discussion about how do we actually put this together, how do we interact together. And in some ways, some calm heads needs to come forward now and actually sit down and work it through. How do we work through it? There's clearly a bill to pay, in terms of being part of a club you've been involved with and you've made commitments to do things. There is an obligation to meet those commitments. It's a question really of quantum. Not unsurprisingly, the ECB will throw, or the EU, sorry, will throw a high number. The UK will throw a low number, and then there will be some form of negotiation. It's a question of also the time period over which that's paid. So most of these things will be linked to commitments over a period of years. What's really, really important here, and it's touched on what Manus was just saying, is that when you're looking forward, and the Hayes statement says it in some ways, that looking at the UK, most people are happy 12 to 18 months, no problem. We've had that sort of what I call roll forward type investment. But the real challenge we've seen is the lack of commitment sort of in the 5 to 10 year category. That's the strategic type investment. And most of those things have gone on hold. The real contrast to that, though, is actually within the property sector. We've continued to see strong international demand. I think that people see that the UK is a good place to come and do business, UK law and the protection of rights. Well, there's a combination. If you're a yen buyer, for example, then the UK looks incredibly cheap. I mean, it's even so for dollar buyers as well. But the point really being, though, is that what the people believe is that actually, our economy is open for business. Now, I've been on here more times than we probably had hot dinners banging on about the need for fiscal responsibility to step up to replace monetary stimulus. And I'll re-emphasise that again today. Philip Hammond has got to realise that, that uncertainty of people not making long-term commitments, we've got to address it. That is job one for the UK government to deal with. And that's about our future. It's not about how we deal with Europe, it's about how the UK puts itself on the stage. Are we open for business or not? Now, there are many ways that we have been positive, but I think for a long time you've got to get inward capital investment. You've got to say, look, regardless of what happens in the negotiations, we will welcome you as an international partner.